And we are live. Welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us. Feel free to drop us some questions throughout the show. Tonight's live session, we have some amazing national athletes here with us today who have went through the changes and movements from different generations. Alumni, please introduce yourself to the audience and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi, my name is Farhan. I'm not an alumni, I'm actually a national athlete. And I'm currently a spec scholar. And maybe you can start on the right and go towards the left.
Okay,
Shakir, you can introduce yourself.
my name is Shakir, and I've been in Silat for more than 15 years. And yeah, I retired since 2018.
Hi, my name is Nurhafizah. I'm one of the part-time national coach, and I started represented Singapore since 2002 and retired somewhere around 2004.
Hi, my name is Fiona. I've been a Silat athlete since 2004. And I retired in 2016 or 2017. Yep, and currently working with Singapore Silat Federation.
For me, my name is Alfian. I started Silat when I was K1 in national team, same as Fiona, to level 4. And I stopped August 2018.
So specific. I need to jot down all the journey.
So, maybe you guys want to share a fun fact about yourselves. Or anything about yourself, just so that people can get to know who you are. Or if you don't have a fun fact, maybe share a lucky item that you usually had before like matches or something.
See, so it always has to be from the right, is it?
I think we can keep that.
Fun facts. Maybe I share with my hobby first. I don't know fun facts, but then my hobby is fishing. Some
That sounds fun. So it's a fun fact, I guess.
It is fun, when you're fighting the fish, it is fun. Maybe some of the things that people don't know me, my pre-routine fight is that I actually hear to dangdut song. That's a secret. This is the first time. It keeps me kind of like forget everything about the pressure, the butterfly in the stomach, just to have fun. But at the same time also, after that, she will ask me everything will be fine and everything. But then that's what my pre-routine is like, just to listen to song. Not specific to dangdut, but anything that can kind of like hype my, so-called hype me up. Yeah.
So that's like your lucky item. Yes.
My lucky item.
Do you have like something like you keep with you, or like
Actually, something you want to know, Farhan. Sekali.
I don't have a lucky item.
what I remember my Shakir lucky item, she had to wear the same underwear.
Hey!
Macam.
Macam.
For myself, basically in the team during national, when we represented Singapore, we have this name that our coaches call us. I'm in the category of Regu Putri. So the three of us have a nickname, which is Trio Ha Ha. Where during the training we always like laugh, like ha ha, and our name are all like starting from HE. So that's the most fun fact.
What are the three names?
Okay, one of my teammates is Hafizah also, and myself, Hafizah, and the other one is Hajar. So we all, our name all started from HE. So yeah, that's where
Maybe
they
it's a fun fact.
Triple R.
Triple R.
It's ha ha ha.
Yeah.
Kamehameha.
Fiona, maybe you can share. Maybe you can talk. That is a very fun fact. So
Fun fact about me. I don't know. I guess.
fun fact about your time in Silat.
Fun. I don't know. I guess for me is every time before I start or before I compete, I think the previous coaches is also aware of my what I always do. So they find it weird, but I think for me it's like a coping mechanism for me. So before I compete, macam like Abang Shakir, quite nervous and everything. So I will always find my own silent spot anywhere around the arena to just have like half an hour or 1 hour sleep. So, so they say it's not good, but for me it's like a coping mechanism for me because you know it's a sense of relief or you know release my stress before I actually step into the arena.
You sure? It's not
So it's a good
sleepiness.
honor.
You sleepy, I don't want to sleep.
I think maybe lah, macam okay, not enough sleep, you know.
But just before the match.
Yeah, like 1 hour before, so I will always have like my own personal time to sleep.
Okay lah.
Yeah.
Actually, it's okay. It's a
Yeah. You know the
Even power
Oh, 1 hour. Aku say 30 minutes. Okay.
got for
30 to 60 minutes.
no really yeah like coaches
30 maybe a bit.
you know dulu right they like to take photos, so I always have photos of myself sleeping during competition, so it's not photos of me cheering or anything, it's just sleeping. So yeah.
That is very fun. Okay. Then
For me, I don't think there's a lot of fun fact for me during my athlete days. But personally, I think that something different about me is that I believe that I'm a lazy athlete. I believe in doing just the bare minimum to do anything. That being it warm up or fight or training. I just do the bare minimum.
But you always coaches selalu skip you. But then when it's other people, always kena.
speaking of fun facts, what are like throughout your career like any like interesting or like unforgettable moments that till now you still like treasure it? Maybe not the most. I'm sure there is a lot of like moments where it's unforgettable, but like what is something that always comes to mind or an example of one like this?
I guess for me is my time with my teammates. So, you know, like every time we go for training, it's always like high intense and stress, and you don't really get to like socialize with your teammates. So, every time we travel for competition, right? Of course, there's pressure to win, to perform, but then at the back end, there are those like memories that I think we cannot, or I cannot get it like during training sessions in Singapore lah. So basically.
So like traveling with the teammates is the unforgettable part.
Yeah, because we tend to do stupid things when we are overseas. So yeah, so that's one of it. Okay.
Anything that you did with your teammates that you can remember or that you want to share?
Okay, so there's this one trip when we went to KL for I think UTHM. So we had like different hotels for the male athletes and the female athletes. So my I think 2012 11 yeah. So Abang Shakir you have, but the guys always different hotel one, and I think the guys hotel was so much better than the girls. Yeah, so that trip, right, the artistic girls macam sway, like very sway. We get the worst room of the worst. I don't know that one room or storeroom, you know. So literally you masuk the room, right? Like it's just one bed, and then there's a toilet. So you have no space to like open your luggage or anything. And kalau you ketuk the wall, right, you can literally hear the other side. Macam gitu. Yeah. So the other side of the room was another, I think it was both Atik Shazwani and Atik Snati. Yeah, in the other room. So there's this one morning, we wanted to rushing to prepare for competition. Then after that, Atik wanted to charge her mobile phone before leaving the hotel. So because it's hollow, right, so you can hear what's going on over the other side. So Atik actually plugged her phone, and then the whole hotel just power trip. And then the worst thing is that somebody was in the toilet mandi. So kita macam, Auntie! Then she's like, oh my god, you know it's me. Of course we know it's you because we can just hear you from the other side. So because of her, the electrician, is it? I think had to like come up and like sort the electricity at the whole hotel. That was like morning of the competition.
Then did he fix it before you guys leave or?
No. So we just left with the hotel all blackout. Of course, I showered. Yeah.
But showering is not usually what you do in the morning also lah.
Hi, and how do you know I didn't shower? Yeah, so
So maybe from someone that as he said 15 years, maybe he has a lot of unforgettable moments. Maybe you
I think a lot because actually I've lived through different timelines,
different generations.
and generations. I think I wasn't in your generation after that, so there's a lot of athletes, teammates that I've met. Then one of my so-called honored and proudest moment was when I got to fight with Tupaka. So he's one of my super idol. And also I think one of the memorable things that I take away from this is my time in Silat playing with my weight category. I was started in class C. I ever played in D, E, F, G, H, I, J. And then after that back to I, and then after that back to E again. That was my last event. So yeah, I've been to different category before, increasing weight, losing weight. So it kind of like make me realize and also explore how our body really is and how we can actually achieve it when we put our heart and mind to it.
Oh, that is a lot. I guess the unforgettable moment is what exactly?
The unforgettable moment is category.
he has a lot to gain and a lot to lose, you know.
Down. Basically went through the whole alphabet lah.
Almost all.
Except for A and B.
A, B, and Tunggal.
Open. Don't forget open. Were you open before?
Confirm lah.
Oh, amazing about Shakir.
Everything. Except for, sorry.
So I guess
Yeah, almost.
I guess unforgettable, but do you miss it or? I mean, I'm sure it's a struggle lah.
It is a struggle, but it's more of me challenging myself and also kind of like make this as a so-called a motivation for the younger kids in terms of saying that, oh, I can't lose weight, I can't gain weight, it's very hard or whatsoever. But you know, if I can do, I think everyone can do as well.
Yeah, I guess relatable.
Or you want more?
No. No, just trying to process the amount of weight gains and weight losses that you have to go through. Because I personally didn't have to do that much, I would say.
Yeah.
Anyways, like now that I'm sure you guys have heard about the new rules, I'm just wondering, like, what about the new rules do you know about? Like, there are a lot of new rules, but like, what is
Maybe
it?
Fiza, you can talk more. Yeah.
Like, what the-
Tolak balas je.
I mean, there's a lot of changes lah, definitely. It's like totally different world from my gen, but because now it's all digital, like unlike before, and some of the rules are all changed. And I guess it's a bit complex. Some of the techniques also there's more techniques that you can apply. So I guess also challenging to us the coaches also to adapt and then to learn all the new things. I mean, yeah.
I mean, one of the things for Seni is that now instead of like competing all like either having a semi-final and final, it's you are doing a knockout stage. So like, do you
Yeah.
think that's more like, is that a better thing, or is that what do you think about that? You know,
I think it's also good to have that. I mean, like, unlike before, it's only a few, like, there's one team A, team B. If you have a lot of opponents, like from other countries. But if, like, sometimes it's from Asian countries, like Asia Pacific, you don't have much countries that represent. It's only like, I mean, mainly it's Malaysia, Vietnam, Philippines, those like Brunei and all that lah. So there's no team like A or B. There's no pool. So for now, I guess it's more. There's, I mean, in terms of standard and professionalism, I think it's there. I mean, I find it's good lah.
because usually the senior compete maybe like their performance, full performance twice. So now maybe at least twice, or maybe even
I mean,
three
the
times.
same as last time also lah. If we, I mean, there is a semi-final and final, or sometimes if like more competitors, then you have like more ballot and all that. So it's the same, I guess. Like you still have to get ready to play twice or once. Yeah, if you are lucky, you just only play at the finals. Yeah.
But now in the new rule, for example, the World Championship, you might have more than 6 or 7 competitors, and you might have to perform minimum of 3 times. Yeah.
But
Maybe even four
yeah,
times.
for the coaches, I think it's more challenging because you have to see another opponent as well. I mean, their stats and all that. Because you need to, I think you can protest or something, right? So unlike before, I mean, our coaches only like focus on us. That's it. Yeah.
So maybe you can bring the conversation to the left side. You guys think like about the new rules, maybe in tanding, like, because there is a lot, definitely a lot of changes, and like, what do you think is maybe like the best improvement in the new rules?
I think for me it's basically now you're allowed to pull or grab, because I think back then a lot of athletes tend to pull their opponents top, yeah, or vest, and then they are penalized. But then now, I guess it will be an advantage to them. Yeah, rather than being penalized, it's an advantage to them. So, I guess this is like a step forward. Though I think it's been. I think all countries are trying to like ensure that the athletes do not back then try to not pull the baju silat or even the vest. But I guess now it's like some sort of a free play in the arena. So you are free to basically showcase and do whatever you like. Yep.
Personally, for me, I don't know much about the new rules. Then I went to watch the previous competition.
C Championship.
Yeah, what?
C Championship.
C Championship, and then when I was watching, I'm like, it's a totally new thing for me. And I was wondering like, what is this? Like most of the parts I don't understand. Then after the competition, I look back at the new rules, and then I believe that there's a lot of opportunity for Silat to become a like, beautiful fighting sport. It's just whether the athletes just needs time to like adapt to the new rules and like master the new techniques of like the pulling, elbow, knee, or even like locking techniques. Apparently you can break legs also, is it? Because I saw you can press the knee when you tangkap the knee, then you can press like here.
Is it the knee?
No, like not push, can just
Are you sure? No, I think it's the thigh.
yeah, but you can hit it, not just
Press it down.
yeah. There's
Really?
a lot of things a lot
I mean, the fact that everyone's not sure means like it's not very clear, I guess.
yeah. I
So
think
that's why I was
That's why we are quite ex-national.
Well, maybe you can explain to us though, Han.
somebody on a technical official also not sure, so maybe I don't know. what I mean is that it's obviously new and like everyone will take time to adapt to it. But like, do you think it's do you think it should remain the same as previously, or the new rules are better? Or maybe I would say there are some merit to the new rules, but maybe you can share like or one new rule that you think that, or maybe you should stick the old way. For example, like I think the going the arena, now you can step one leg out. So I think that one maybe should have stick the old one because it makes it a bit confusing. So that's an example lah. So maybe you have, when you're watching the previous championship, you ever thought like, oh, actually maybe you should have stuck in the old rule for this specific part. If anyone has any thoughts.
I think that change is good, like so that everyone can have a level playing field. So one person won't just be a champion at the same old rules. So this change is good to test yourself. If you really can win, then it's really like hats off to you. Then for the fighting, like competition wise, it doesn't matter like about the rules actually. I think it's more about how the athletes want to fight. Yeah. So that's the thing that will make a lot of difference. But the new rules, I think it's good. But if the athletes don't work on it, or if the athletes work on it, that's good for them. That's all.
Yeah, I think for me, it's like I mentioned earlier, it's more interesting because it's a free play. So the athletes are not restricted by certain rules or guidelines that they are not allowed to do. So, I mean, Silat we are martial arts. So when you put like a restriction to it, it just gets boring and dull. So like back then, you always see like fighters waiting for legs. But now, I'm not sure whether if you wait, what will happen to you. So it's something that you expect the unexpected lah. Yep.
It's just that you need time to adapt to the
Correct.
changes and
I think for the artistic it's also quite interesting because back then as an artistic athlete, when I travel, I always have this mindset like, I work so hard, then I only perform one time, you know. But now I have like the same opportunity to actually go out and showcase my strength, my capabilities, maybe once, twice or three times. So it's something that I look forward to, and I do not have to worry so much like, if I don't make it in my qualifying round, means I won't make it in my final. But having this knockout system, I know that I have to showcase my best at this level, and then I prepare for the next level. Yeah.
I think for like the artistic, it's something you can think of is similar to like if let's say you were doing track and field, and then it's a 100-meter race. If there are eight runners, then or eight sprinters, and they all run at the same time, so similar to what the old rules did. So do you think it's like, would it be more interesting if you see sprinters like doing knockout? So they will do like the same as us now. So they'll run 3 times if there are 8 competitors, the same way. Or do you think it's better like they just run once? So you have to do your ultimate best at one time. I think because also it's not direct. There's no direct opposition because you're doing it on your own. Yeah. So do you think what do you think about that? Like that way of thinking? Because you're not in direct opposition with your opponent, so it's a bit different than let's say tanding. Yeah.
I don't know, Kak Fiza, you have anything to say about this?
I think it's good to have second time because at least when your first round you didn't manage to fulfill whatever that you want to do, then at least if you go to the second one, at least you can do it better. For me lah, I think it's
guess the only downside now is that for seni athletes, if you play 2 or 3 events means you die because it will be like back to back. You compete all the time. So I guess now it's more of like if you're playing tunggal, then you just have to focus on tunggal, or at most you're gonna play like 2 events. You are not able to compete 3 because it will be like a back to back event. Yep.
So, Shakir, maybe you want to share like one. I'm interested to know one like new rule that you wish was present when you were fighting.
Maybe the pulling.
What specifically? Because
Okay, because for me, I think jatuhan or dropping is one thing, but then I think with the pulling, you can do even more type of jatuhan techniques as well, and the probability of you falling down is more. I mean, the success rate of you doing that drop technique is more. So I wish that was then when I was still competing.
so is it more the pulling when
What
like
You always compare.
I can read your mind. But before that, I stop you first.
You can always come back, Abang Shakir. We welcome you. Apa kelas you nak?
I think everyone still can Spotify, right?
is it the pulling like when you're doing the dropping itself or like the actual pulling? Because now
Okay,
most teachers
pulling,
they just pull
yeah,
and then they lie down.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
So for me, it's more rather when you are doing the dropping technique. So it's not more of like grabbing each other's so-called arms or even baju to bring the opponent down. Because for me, it's like
There's no stoppage when like you the jatuhan tak sah because you pull.
correct,
kind of
yeah,
thing.
yeah. So because I'm also a part-time coach, coaching the younger ones. They have started to ask me, coach. So do you think that we need to focus more on our so-called grabbing and jatuhan? Then I told them personally, you don't need to focus on the grabbing. So it's just treat it as the same thing, and when you get the chance to do it, then you do. Because the thing is, you are in fighting. You can't just wait to tarik the opponent and jatuhkan that one is more of like a judo already. So it's different. So you still can punch, you still can kick, you can do sapuan or whatever things. So just don't concentrate on nak jatuhkan orang because now the rules already given you the permission to tarik tangan dia nak jatuh and everything else. Yeah, so this rule gets into the athlete's mindset already. Dia katakan, oh, dah boleh tarik lah, so aku nak kena belajar nak tarik and everything. But then back end, diorang forgot that the gameplay is still the same. You still can punch, kick, jatuhan and everything. So this is just additional. They forget about that.
Yeah, so I guess think about what you've done for years and not focus so much on the new stuff.
Correct.
Just
The
know it, but
fundamental lah,
that's not your
the
first.
additional is more of like a bonus,
Treat it as a supplement than the necessity lah.
You said it right, champ.
So now we're gonna go for a 5 minutes break. Unless you guys wanna add anything about the new rules.
No, Han.
Okay, so we're gonna go for a 5 minutes break, and I think later on the screen there'll be a donation page for SSF is looking for sponsors or any donors to support the programs that we are doing. You can donate by PayNow or bank transfer. The details should be on the screen during the break. speaking of the new rules, right, talking about like competing and stuff, like, do you guys miss the adrenaline of competing? Like before, like I think there's a few times where maybe you feel that like maybe just before, like maybe during in camp or when you're flying off, but the most one is when you're just about to compete. Yeah. Do you miss like that?
Yes, of course, I miss that, but
If you miss that, then
You can come back.
I think the most so-called adrenaline that I kind of like miss the most is during the 2016 when me and you we are preparing for the finals, and then after that you competed at first. It's supposed to be side by side, but you competed first.
you competed first, yeah?
No, no.
Eh? Oh, I competed first.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's supposed to be the same.
Yeah, 6 years
It's
ago.
supposed to be the same. Yeah,
Yeah,
sorry,
yeah,
it was 6
yeah.
years ago. Sorry. Yeah, but it's still fresh in my mind,
Yeah.
because mine has stopped. Yours
Oh.
is still continuing. So, you already won that game, and now it's my turn.
Yeah.
So it's like, and also because the fight that you gave the Vietnamese was so intense, and it kind of like give me also the motivation to, give me the strength to perform, I think, to the level best that I can be lah, in that sense. And then after that, I also do not want to lose lah, because after you have won that game and then now it's my turn, I do not want to lose out also.
Yeah.
And also I want to kind of like what do you say, regain or
Regain
reclaim
your title, or reclaim your title.
reclaim my title lah.
Yeah.
So that was the most so-called
Adrenaline rush.
adrenaline rush that I had lah.
The combination of competing at the same time as another teammate.
Correct.
And like
yeah.
coming back from the 2015 setback. So
Yeah, and the injuries as well.
yeah, during SEA Games. So yeah, I think that sounds like. Do you have any similar experience? Fiona,
Yeah, you
Alfian?
first.
For me, I enjoyed whatever time I had as an athlete, because I believe that I gave whatever I could give to the sport. And towards the end, it felt like I was just happy with my athlete life, and I have no regrets living. So I don't really miss like, any part of the suffering, the competing, losing, or winning, or whatever. I just left it as dah lepas.
So what was the transition like from like the suffering and everything, like constant training,
What do you
and
mean
now?
suffering? Thought training was enjoyable.
For Abang Shakir.
If it's not suffering, means it's not training. Yeah. No lah, but yes, it can be enjoyable, but we all know the suffering. Not just exaggerated way, but obviously we know what it was for and stuff. But yeah, how is it like transitioning from constantly training and then to now?
Honestly, it's not that hard for me. Because like I used to look forward to every training, and towards the end I felt like it's enough already for me. So like I've been mentally preparing myself for like after the athlete life.
The sedentary life. The sedentary life.
Apa tu? English tak bagus.
Could you please
I don't know what you mean.
repeat all?
No, what do you mean civilian? What is that?
Oh, is it civilian life?
You mean civilian life? Or?
Sedentary also macam
Okay, what does sedentary mean?
okay, tak apa. Ataupun aku memang sembarang.
Actually, that's why I think it's like
Ini
animal.
sebab aku Google. Sedentary. Sedentary.
I think you mean civilian life, is it?
Okay, now continue.
So yeah, there's not much. Like I wasn't like shocked or anything. I was prepared for it, and like I'm enjoying life.
Okay, I can see that.
Okay,
you
I
feel like
checked
what?
about Google. So
What is it?
it's tending to spend much time seated somewhere inactive.
Oh,
so it's
okay.
a special. There's the only word. That's interesting.
You learn a new word today.
New words today, yeah.
So, like speaking about Alfian's transition, like, do you feel like the same way? Like, were you like prepared for it, or did it like was it not as easy when you were transitioning out of the athlete life in 2004?
During my time, Mr. Abanshi is the one who trained us.
Mm.
I don't know whether you guys been trained by him or not lah.
I don't remember.
Or you don't wish to remember?
Trained by him is like it's really like dragging our feet to training, but of course, I mean, it's a very I should say he's quite good in terms of, even though he will scold you or lembek lah macam faham lah whatever, but I think it makes us feel what do you call this, push ourselves to do better. And yeah, during that point of period, our coach is I think Abang Yan, Abang Azlani. I don't know whether you guys know or not.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, at least someone
He's
knows.
been through all generations. You must remember that.
So
I understand. Never mind, I don't think they understand.
yeah. So it's quite like challenging for the ladies lah, because the ladies is like not that really what do you call this? Those our guys team, those abang-abang, all like those like really elite team. So they are all like champion, and they really train like wow, like seriously they really train very hard. So we also have to compete together with them, and I always remember this. We have to do like the guntingan for the regu, 3 of us, like more than 100 times, the same technique just for one technique, until we really get the proper guntingan. So that's why we cry lah. I mean, that's the worst struggle that we always can remember until now. But I mean, it's good. At the end of the day, when we compete, I mean, I think the last competition was 2014, and it was World Championship, and majority of us managed to go to the final stage lah. And I think that is the most memorable part for me lah, and my team also.
It was a demanding but rewarding
Yes.
training.
Yeah.
But I think it also comes with a lot of pressure, like because of all that training, and you wanna do your best in the competition itself. So like speaking about pressure, how do you cope with like that kind of pressure before you compete, Fiona?
Like
You
I
know?
say, Farhan,
The
I sleep.
pressure. Oh, yeah,
sleep it off.
That's how you cope with the pressure. So when you wake up, you don't even feel it anymore.
Yeah. So, but I guess it's not more. I think what pressure me more is during the preparation towards the competition, because like for me, when I look at myself, right, I think that I was the weakest one within the artistic team back then. Still am. So when I look at my teammates perform, I'll be like, hey, how come I cannot do like that? How come I'm not at their level, you know? So I guess that is where all the pressure comes from for me.
So during the actual, like maybe in camp or like when you're about to fly off, you can feel that pressure building, and then you
Yeah.
just sleep it all off.
Yeah, because I feel like it's already bad at training, because I feel like the pressure is so bad at training that when I want to fly off, right, I'll be like, hey, what if my teammates succeed and they bring back medal and then I'm the only person who doesn't? So that is, yeah.
So you feel like a sort of the pressure you feel is more like, what if I don't perform as good as my teammates are?
Yeah, and what if I don't actually bring back any medal?
Medals.
Yeah.
That's the most pressure.
Yeah.
But I think it's good because you did bring back some medals, so I guess you did handle the pressure
Because
well.
I sleep it off.
Did you have maybe like some type of like support to get you through that pressure, or do you really think that sleep really helped you?
I don't really
To
like
get it
to talk about my pressure or my stress, because it only makes the whole situation worse.
Understand?
Yeah, so I like to keep it to myself, and like honestly, sleeping is the best solution for me. Yeah. So in my room I will sleep, competition arena, I will sleep. As and when I got time to sleep, I will just sleep. Yeah.
So I think it's maybe advice to newcomers or the current athletes would be like to find your own way to deal with the pressure lah.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's not the same with everyone.
Correct.
What other advice do you want to give, or you think you can pass on, Mr. Shakir? Some advice.
I think more of self-talk, and also, but it actually, you know what, when you say that, individual athletes have their own ways and stuff, you have to discover your own ways. But then I think one thing in general is that self-talk is one of the so-called basic fundamental of mental skills. Macam psychologist pula. So it's more of you so-called being confident about yourself and feel good about yourself, and just to reassure that everything is fine. You have done your preparation, and this is the time that you perform.
So what kind of self-talk do you do?
For me,
Give me an example lah, like what?
example,
Yeah. Like what kind of self-talk do you do? Like, do you do like just before the match, or like even during the match, or like during training? Like, what exactly do you say to yourself to like kind of relieve that pressure?
well, I think you have at the back of your mind kind of like doubts about yourself. Hey, what if you not succeed in this championship? What if when you are seeing your opponent, he's strong, he's tall, he's fast. Whatever, all those doubts that came to me, I will just say it oppositely, saying that he's tall. Yeah, I'll just say to myself, I'm faster than him.
I thought you were gonna say I'm taller than him. I was like, there's no way you can.
I'm faster. Sorry. I'm faster than him. Yes, correct. Yeah, I'm faster than him. Maybe saying that he's stronger, I'm fitter. All those things that make you feel better.
Maybe not like direct opposites. Like if the opponent is really taller, then you cannot say, I'm taller, because. But yeah, so like
the
if
opponent is taller, you're taller.
no, I'm saying you can't say that. It cannot be a direct opposite lah. So when you say,
you're
I
taller,
guess
I'm
most. So no, like you can say that, my opponent is tall, then like, I'm taller, but actually in the real life you're not taller,
Yeah.
So
It's
like
not
you
that
say something else that to give yourself confidence, like he's tall, but actually I'm faster.
Yeah,
He's strong,
correct.
but
Yeah.
actually if he's strong, then you probably are stronger lah. So
Strong
I guess something that you cannot see, like
Yeah, of
something that you can see is taller, or he got missile what, but he don't have missile, so like something like that.
No, but whatever it is, even though if your opponent is strong, as strong as whatsoever lah, but then in every martial arts, the fastest will win. If you are strong but you are not fit, you are not fast, you won't kind of like, because we are kind of like a points-based system whereby we get points. So even though he's strong but he might be slow, you are fast and you are fitter, so you get as many points as possible. So I think, you have to know your own strengths. But for me, I know my own strengths. I'm fast, I'm fit. I think I'm the fittest in my category. So that's where I use that strength against them.
Yeah, so it's more being confident in your training, knowing that you've built yourself to the point where you are confident that you're the fittest or
Correct.
the fastest.
If you remember this saying, you save up your money in the ATM. Once in a competition, it's kind of like you go for shopping, so you just.
Oh, is the amount again? I forgot.
Yeah.
What, 18,600, is it?
There's an amount, is it?
Yeah.
I don't know. There's an amount.
No, because the thing was like the amount of minutes that you have in a day, or the amount of seconds, something like that. So you use that amount of time, but you can't get it back, something like that.
Oh, I learned something new.
Oh, that's what?
Someone's not paying attention.
So I guess you're not paying attention to the training
So
lah.
you did.
Of course.
Yeah. So like, maybe anyone wanna build on what he said like about self-talk, and like if let's say self-talk does not work for you, what else does? Maybe you wanna share?
For me, self-belief. During competition or whatever whatever thing that we went through,
Sounds the same. But
it might sound the same, but sometimes like I don't take things seriously. But then when people say like they're tired or what, then I will just like tell them, believe you can and you're halfway there. That's like my favorite thing to say to other people. So I think it's
But you never say to me Yeah,
What?
you
No,
pilih
dia dah
kasih
salah
ya.
dah.
You pilih kasih.
Alamak.
no reason to say that to you.
Yeah, because you were always, you were always ongoing
Sleeping,
in training. Yeah.
Oh, is it?
In training, you sound like you don't look tired. That's why I don't need to say to you. Yeah. So maybe that's why lah. So that was I guess a bit serious conversation about competing and stuff and the struggles that we go through before competing. So maybe we can lighten the mood by playing a game called Song Association. So basically, Song Association is I'll give you guys a word, and then somebody, if you can sing a song with the word in it, then you're the winner.
What do we get?
You get my congratulations.
That's all.
Okay.
So let's try with the first word, which is attack. Anybody?
I'm thinking Demi Lovato song, but I just forget.
Heart attack?
Yeah.
Okay, maybe.
So-
What exactly?
But I don't know the tune, but I know it's the song. Abang Shakir confirm tahu, right?
I think he needs like Malay, or like
Maybe he
dangdut
needs
words.
dangdut lah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Apa sih?
The Heart Attack song Demi Lovato. How Na 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 na.
Heart attack.
Because maybe. Okay, maybe attack is. I'll give it to Fiona lah, since that's the first one. Even though I gave you the answer, but okay. The next word is year. Okay, I can't think of anything right now. So, year.
This one is the title or in the
No,
lyrics?
no, in the lyrics. So any song that with the word in it. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh.
So it's like, I don't know,
I will just keep quiet. I don't know.
something like.
New Year, Jamie Lebato.
Jamie Lebato. Bruh.
I don't know. I just make it up.
We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Okay, there we go. So,
Betul?
yeah, we wish you a Merry Christmas and a
We wish you
Happy
Merry
New Year
Christmas.
and a
Oh,
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
No, I just singing the song, so everybody knows. Okay, so that's one for Alfian, one for Fiona. Okay, strong. Okay, I feel like there's gonna be a lot of answers here. Say one song, I think there is this word. It was quite famous in 2015. Yeah. Actually, I don't know. Now I'm thinking. Actually, I was thinking about the SEA Games song, the Unbreakable. Is that actually the word strong?
I don't know.
He should
But you were in the
know. That's
video,
why
right?
you're in the MV.
You in the video. You probably heard that song a million times.
Maybe you
already.
can sing for us
That's
the
why
song.
I wear the headphones so I can't hear the music. Strong.
Strong. Or maybe you can even. Doesn't have to be strong. Maybe it can be.
Stronger.
Yeah, sure.
What doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
Oh, there we go. What's that song?
Kanye West lah.
Berdua ada.
Wait, what's that song?
Pernah dengar?
Oh, Kelly Clarkson, right?
Yeah, Kelly Clarkson.
Kelly Clarkson.
So he
Oh,
can- he-
whatever makes you stronger eh?
Whatever
doesn't
makes
make you stronger?
Whatever. Okay.
seketika lah apa yang kau suka.
Betul kan? Correct kan?
Yeah, but she said it first lah. Don't,
Oh,
don't
is it?
try and claim it. So that's two. Okay. Then the next word is wait. Okay. Wait. Anyone? Maybe
Wait.
even like wait, but in Malay also can. So we switch it up a bit. So tunggu. I'm sure there is a Malay song with the word tunggu.
Wait is
Oh,
what? Nanti. Wait apa?
Wait, tunggu.
Tunggu.
Tunggu nanti sama.
Nanti not later ah.
Nanti is later.
That's why.
Nandu is Indonesian. So
Malay, ni Malay so.
nanti.
I'm just giving a bigger,
Bigger thing.
so more options lah. So you can say wait or tunggu, if anybody knows lah. Takkan you don't even
Ada
know
word
wait?
nanti, ada word nanti
But nanti, wait. How is wait even nanti? Nanti is not wait. What are you talking about? Nanti, tunggu aja. I don't know.
Wait, stop. Wait.
Wait in Malay is tunggu.
You have a song in your
No,
head.
of course
Seems
not.
like
lah.
you-
I
Yeah,
don't
exactly.
know
You're
song
like
lah.
giving.
No, I'm
this
just because I'm just letting him. Maybe he knows like some Malay song.
I don't know.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know.
You think can change the word?
Okay, sure. Since everybody give up.
So what?
Okay, face. This one confirm there is lah.
Muka.
Sure, boleh lah. Can face or muka?
Face.
Or maybe you just sing every song that you know, then maybe something will
why
come.
you guys are looking at me?
No, because you haven't like you know.
What? Both of them have points.
Yeah.
I don't have. I also don't have.
Yeah, that's why I'm looking at this.
Looking at me.
No, because she's a bit too close, so like. But actually, I'm still also trying to get something.
Gini apa Shakir?
Oh, can
Face or muka?
Muka
Face can be like facing something also, right?
Yeah, up to you. Just shoot
As
it.
long as you sing the verse.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
I think obviously everyone don't want to say.
Why is this game so hard?
Face. Just sing every
Face.
song you know. It's probably a face. Face me. Or I don't know.
What song is that?
No, I'm just giving, like it can be not
Han,
exactly
you
face.
know, right? You
it
can just
be like
sing it, you know?
the person is facing me. You know what I mean? I'm giving like different type of meanings of the word face. It doesn't have to be necessarily the actual face of a person. So maybe there is. Really? Damn. Maybe the words are really too.
Can you sing? Can you sing?
Poker.
There we go.
Yeah, I got the point.
There we go. Okay, so that's two.
Rain, go away.
Boleh juga. Okay.
Next.
One, two.
Dia cakap poker je, dia tak nyanyi, aku nyanyi.
But he gave the point to me.
That's why.
It's okay.
Okay, peace.
Piece of me.
What? What
I
piece
know
of
that's Kelly Clarkson song also, right?
No, I need to hear a bit.
Dia
No, but that one
Oh
I know.
my God, you are so
No,
biased.
I know what's the song.
Then,
But what is piece of me? Like maybe
it's Kelly Clarkson's song.
is that the name of the song or
Yeah,
what?
of course.
Okay, but
Yeah.
like maybe like, sing a bit of the piece of me.
I don't know how to sing, but you should.
Okay, whoever can sing will get the maybe Fiona.
I don't
think.
remember the tune.
Then how do you know
The
it's piece
melody.
of me?
Because it's the title
Yeah, it's a title.
of the
Piece
song.
Okay, what is the melody? Piece of me? I don't think there is a song like that.
Maybe you can Google now.
But then I don't
Then after that you
I don't want to cheat for you guys. Pieces of me.
Piece of me.
Or do you want a piece of me?
Piece of my heart by I don't know who. I think I heard that song before
Piece
on
of
the
my
radio.
heart.
Pieces of my heart.
Piece of my heart. Some Celine Dion or whatever.
Celine Dion.
Wow. Maybe you should know lah. You're Celine Dion, right?
I think
You
it's
both
the
should know.
generation.
Repeat je Kelly Clarkson. Britney
Real.
Spears.
Okay, what's the song? What's the song?
I don't know.
What does it sound like?
Legit.
Hey,
You never say what cannot use word.
that is an advertisement. Like, you know what? We just skip the word. We just skip the word. We skip the word. Next word. Okay, knock.
No.
Who's there? Knock. Who's there?
Is it a song?
No lah. Oh my god. What the hell? Knock is the word. Knock. Who's there is a joke. It's not a song.
Knock you down.
Okay.
Sing it.
nyanyi-nyanyi lah.
Okay, we narrow it down to one.
Yeah, I know. I'm just talking to myself. No self-talk. Self-talk.
Oh, okay.
No, you can just
Was it knock me down?
knock you down.
Knock you down.
Cherry Hilson, Kanye West, knock you down.
Dia dah complete kan, tak apa kasih dia.
What song is that?
Can you see it?
Yeah,
Yang banyak ni.
Kan? Is that right? Yeah.
Knock me
That
down.
is during the chorus, right?
Yeah.
Okay, what is it?
Kanye West?
Kanye West and Cherry Hilson.
Really? Yeah.
Yes.
The name of the song is what?
Knock you down.
Really?
You Google it.
Half-half.
Me.
Half-half.
But I feel like you guys made it up.
No. Serious. I'm serious.
Or is it All Falls Down? Is that what you're referring to?
No.
Knock you down.
Okay,
Yeah, half-half.
I'll just trust it.
Okay, next.
Next word is low. Okay, this one definitely there is a million.
Low.
Okay, I'll give it to him too. Okay, next word, maybe the last game. So this is a tiebreaker for all three of you.
Is it this one you got?
No. I said three of you.
Three. Yeah,
I think that's Annie if a tie, let her.
Game. I think
Game over.
once someone sings a song, the game is over. Yeah, so maybe like something like I don't know.
Once you sing a song, the
I'm
game is
guessing.
over.
Yeah, I'm
That's
guessing.
a song, ah?
No, I'm saying this last is the last one.
Game.
I'm guessing maybe some lyric like stop playing games or something like that. Is there? Don't play games. Is that? Does that
Play
ring
games
any
with
bell?
me,
Maybe.
Playing games with my heart. Backstreet Boys. Sembarang.
Yeah, Basic Boys ada.
Ah, okay, there we go. Okay, congratulations. You get my congratulations.
I'm honored, Farhan. Thank you.
Okay, so
I don't know.
now
Generation, I think.
what?
What? Alamak.
Oh, there is a question. Oh, question for Alfian. Will he make a comeback to the national team?
Fian.
Open. Oh, but he said open to the table. So maybe we get answers from everyone first,
Yeah,
then
answer lah.
see what what he actually says. So what is your prediction? Will Alfian make a comeback to the national team? So yeah.
What? A prediction will Alfian.
Yeah. Then after
comeback?
that we'll see what his answer. Because he said open to the tables.
I think it's a question for every one of us.
Oh. Oh, because just now you said, oh, now it's maximum 45. So maybe you can answer for yourself also.
Yeah.
Will you make a comeback?
Why is always me first? Okay.
Because on the right, you know.
I think. Susah nak cakap. Come back to the national team, maybe. Oh, but not as an athlete, but as a coach.
Wait, say again?
I was excited for a moment. Like,
Come back in the
Come back
national
to
team,
the
but
national
in a
team.
different,
In
in a different capacity.
Yeah.
The capacity is not an athlete lah.
Same.
Interesting. So Fiona, any I don't know, feeling of thinking?
I guess for me, I ended my journey as an athlete not too well. It was abruptly. So I didn't really felt satisfied with how I ended my journey. So
So that's a hint that you can come back.
What are you waiting for?
Yeah. What are you waiting for?
what am I supposed to compete in?
Why?
Whatever you want,
Whatever I want.
you just gotta work
So-
for it lah.
Yeah, so I guess I may come back.
Whoa.
I may. I want to, but I don't think I have the time to come back. Yeah,
Why?
because of work.
You're still
Having to like
train full-time.
manage all these athletes. all these athletes, yeah.
Okay, so I guess you did get something. Okay, one last.
For me, as of now, I don't see myself competing again. But then whether it change in the next, I still got 20 years to 45.
perjalanan yang jauh Yan.
Perjalanan
Still a long way to go.
Hari Raya.
Tadi tak nyanyi.
Plus, when I stopped competing at 2018, I didn't like officially say that I want to retire. I just taking a short break or taking a break. I don't know how long I will take. So for now no. But if I do find the motivation, or if I find the suddenly want to fight again, then I will like take my time to train or anything and see if I'm still on par with the athletes. Yeah.
But the fire is still there.
No.
So
No.
coach, maybe and maybe also. So that's where we're at lah, I guess. So anyways, as you know, I am part of the Spec Scholarship scheme, as both of you were. What do you think about that program? What was your experience like being part of it?
Okay, being a spec scholars, it's one of the reason why I stayed this long, and I think no one has ever stayed this long except for Abang Sheik and also arwah Abang Gadi. And the reason being is because we live in this current world right now whereby once you reach at the age of 20 plus or even after NS, you have a lot of other commitments and so on, and you know that if you are going to compete in the highest level, you need to have a lot of sacrifices, and I think this spec scholarship program really helps me in terms of giving me the so-called financial support and also all the supports that SSI has provided in terms of strength and conditioning, nutrition, physiology, psychologists, and so on and so forth. And also the extra budget that we need to kind of like purchase our equipments and so on and so forth. So I think that it is a really good so-called program that was initiated by Sports SG for us athletes who really wish to so-called pursue our dreams to achieve the highest so-called achievement that has in our sport. So yeah, but to get into that program is not actually easy. So yeah, I leave it to that.
Do you feel the same way?
I do feel the same way as Shakir. It's a good program for aspiring athletes or for athletes to even level up in their career. Then for me, I enjoyed my time being a scholar, but at the same time also, there's always a good and bad about everything. It's not just all that you see our image as.
The glamour.
There's a lot of suffering also behind the scene, like the pressure when you compete, the image that you have to uphold to athletes and parents and also the public. Yeah, so it's not just like wah aku nak jadi macam dia. It's not just there's a lot of things that you have to consider also. But if you really think that you want to be a top level athlete, then you should. It's a good program for you.
It's a great program that comes with a lot of responsibility lah.
Correct.
Yes, yeah.
Not even not only that you have to uphold your performance, but also other aspect in terms of you have to give back to the community. I believe you have done a lot of volunteering work as well with Team Singapore, and also being a role model whereby you need to kind of like give motivation to the younger generations and so on and so forth. And also one part of it is the KPIs that we have to meet every year.
That's where the pressure comes in, is it?
Correct.
Yeah. So for like Fiona and Fiza, like obviously during Fiza's time there's no spec scholarship.
This one is
But
Spec-tech ah.
Spectec, right?
yeah. Is there? 2004. I was
Sebelum
like
Spectec apa
5.
Specs Grand.
No, Spectec. Iya ke?
But like, what kind of support do you have like during your time? If Fiza, you can start. Like,
During my time.
yeah, what kind of support do you receive during your involvement as a national team? Maybe
Kadet
from
tak?
like
Kadet. You know what's cadet? You don't know what's
Carding.
So cadet pun tak ada. I think it's more of the initial so-called time whereby it's minimal support given to our sport, and I think over the years there's some changes and I believe I think
Which is good. I mean, during our time, it's like more straightforward.
What was it like?
like straightforward like what?
Like,
What was 18 years ago like?
so, yeah.
I thought it was
I
8.
mean, the support that we have is from what do you call this? Sport council, where we have our nutrition. I mean, nutrition is also the basic one lah.
Yeah.
Yeah, physiotherapy, all the basic support. Yeah,
So basically what we have now, but like
I think it's
I guess basically
more-
what we have right now is like there's more of the
Yeah.
same thing. Yeah. I guess now also we have nutrition and
I mean, it's the same lah.
yeah. But I think now
But we
maybe
don't have
there's
additional
more
like
yeah.
spec scholarship. Or
Yeah,
something.
yeah, more lesser programs but maybe last time there's like the basics about nutrition, physiotherapy,
Yeah,
and maybe psychology also. But for Fiona, I know when she was in there was spec scholarship and there was a lot of programs like carding and the carding system as well. So like for you, what kind of support do you feel that you receive during your involvement?
Support from SSI.
Sure. Or also maybe
Or-
from your family, your friends, like what kind of like support do you have? Like being a national athlete, from Sports Council or from Sports Singapore, we get the support of the nutrition and physiotherapy and everything. But maybe beyond that, do you receive support from your friends because they know that you're a national athlete, from your family? Yeah, you can broaden the conversation.
Broaden the conversation. Okay, I guess back when I was an athlete, I think similar to Kak Fiza, we do receive support from SSI, sports science wise, though it's minimal. So I think during my year when, I think in 2012, when Abang Shakir, Alfian and Iqbal was awarded the spec scholarship
2014.
2013.
2013.
Yeah. So
Minimal of course.
yeah, so
You are
that
specific with your years.
so that is when I think we tap on the support that they receive. So I mean, back then it's more of like, okay, this is what we can provide to you guys. So the moment they receive the spec scholarship, that is when the other athletes try to like tap on it, like whatever services or support they receive, we try to get as much as possible, so that we are able to also perform or even execute at the same level as they are. Yeah, so I guess that is one thing. And I think as a national athlete, it's everybody's dream to be a spec scholar, because it was mine too back then. I applied twice for the scholarship program. I was rejected once because of I don't actually have enough data point to support my application. So in 2015, they were playing or toying around whether my Regu team should receive the scholarship or not. So we know that World Championship and SEA Games is the time that we have to perform. So that is when, I think after the moment we won silver for SEA Games Regu, that's the moment when Clifton, I remember specifically that Clifton came to me and shook my hand and he said, congratulations, I'm going to see you in this program. Yeah, but things changed, so I was not able to accept the scholarship due to some personal reason. But I guess after that, the support that I see as a staff of Silat Federation that is managing the high performance department for the spec scholars is splendid. Yeah, so I guess it's not they have widened the range or even widened the support for our athletes, because it's more specific. For example, like Silat, they did the 3D sparring session. on the screen, where it's to help injured athletes to still continue with training but with minimal contact. Yeah, so they still receive the same training program or intensity but with minimal contact. And then we also have our nutritionist, where I work with them a lot, so where we actually come up with a workshop for the athletes to learn how to cook a healthy meal. I don't know if after that they cook healthy meal ke tak lah. But you know, it's all about educating them and knowing that you know, you can still enjoy food but in a healthier and better manner. Yeah, so these are just some of the few things. And
I guess being after retiring but being involved in a different capacity makes you see like the other things that are there also.
correct. I guess there are things that an athlete don't see, but as a staff working or managing, they are able to see. So these are things that I think as a spec scholar or as an athlete, you should actually appreciate the support that you receive from Sports Singapore. Yeah.
So after you retire, you've been involved in Silat through like being the high performance manager. Like for the rest of you, like how have you been involved in the sport? Or have you feel like, or the reason why you wanted to be more involved in the sport after you retired? In what capacity did you get involved? So, Shakir. Okay, you can start with Fiza first. Then we go this way.
Okay, so for myself, I think that's why I joined as a part-time coaches. And yeah, I think from there I can keep up with myself. I mean, it's not like comeback, to make a comeback, but at least to to maintain my stamina, and at the same time I learn a bit more than before. So
Now what compelled you? Because like I know the transition in between your retirement and being a part-time coach was quite what made you feel like I wanna come back and be part of the sport in a different way?
I do like sports. I do even if I'm not in the team before, I do my own training lah. I mean, I did my own training with my niece or nephews. I mean, you know, it's just for fun or for performance. You know, we just learn, like, you know, have fun and all that. So that's why I think, I mean, like I said, I mean, to make a comeback, of course, obviously not as an athlete. So I mean, being part of it as a coaches, I think is also a good what do you call this? Good chance or good
Opportunity to
opportunities as well. Yeah.
refresh your mind.
Yeah, correct. And there's a lot of new things that I have to learn. And even being a coach, we've been training so like a
Pencil.
You just had to, right?
I mean, we do have to go through training as well for all the coaches, which I didn't expect that we all have to go to the training. It's quite intense. I mean, we have to spar with all the guys, like, you know. Yeah.
So for Shakir, you how do you remain in the industry? Like, I'm sure there is a lot.
I'm still
Still
in
fit
the
lah.
industry.
I always like want to wala all the guys during the coaches training.
You lah.
Never joined that one time.
Only once.
Yeah, the one time like.
But you left an
But it
impression.
didn't seem like
You
you're
left
part
an
of it.
impression.
You just feel like you're just an
Because
athlete.
okay, for me, after sports, I am still in the sports industry. I'm working in Sports Singapore under Singapore Sports Institute. Being a sports performance manager, so I'm in charge of so-called overseeing NSAs as well. So with me overseeing different kind of NSAs, we kind of like also trying to understand, you know, how different NSA works, Okay, for example, okay, SSF is an NSA. So different NSAs have their own style of organizing, or even not say organizing.
Work etiquette. No.
No work etiquette.
The work environment.
The working environment and of how their so-called sports performance pathway, their high performance strategy, and so on and so forth is different throughout different NSAs. So for me, being able to handle different sports kind of also help me understand, and also what are the good practices I can take, and maybe inshallah in the future, if I have gained enough so-called knowledge, I could come back as a technical director.
Maybe.
I thought you were gonna say come back as an athlete. I was like, whoa.
But in a sense, I also want to kind of like improve in terms of the Silat as a community, and also high performance in a way.
So,
And align to Dr. Sheik's so-called vision and aspiration, Silat towards Olympic. So
it's always improvements to be made, and you feel like there are some like you wanna
so
contribute.
learning from different NSAs, what are the best practices, even from sports that have gone to Olympics, what they have done correct, and so on and so forth. Maybe we can kind of like use that in our organization as well.
So for Alfian, like how have you remained involved in the industry?
To be honest,
what way?
not much.
Yeah.
I feel like I haven't really done anything in the Silat world after leaving in 2018. But at the same time also, I just want to take my time to enjoy life, spend time with loved ones, spend time with my wife, my niece and nephew, my parents, and I felt like those are the things that I missed out on during my athlete years. So maybe if I do have the time, I will see whatever I can do to slowly get into the industry.
But if you were to get into the industry, what do you think you would?
I'll be a supporter or critic. Be the one of those that comment on the Facebook or Instagram.
Dating siya yan.
I think you have a lot of those. Maybe you can come back something. Yeah.
I don't know where I fit. Like how can I help right now? Because I think that the system is already so good.
Have you thought of coming back as a coach?
There's a lot to learn before becoming a coach. Yeah.
It's a big thing to unpack. But anyways, the SEA Games is coming up, and what do you hope for this upcoming SEA Games in Vietnam? In any way, like in terms of like, obviously, I guess we all hope that the athletes can bring every gold medal that we compete in. But other than that, in terms of maybe the sport itself or the new rules or anything you think, other than the comment like, I hope the athletes do their best and win the gold medal. I feel like that is a consensus with everyone already. So, what do you hope for? Yes.
I think for me, Silat throughout the years for SEA Games, we have always produced medals, even though it's one gold medal or two, but every athlete will definitely bring back a medal. Yeah. So I guess what I hope for these SEA Games is that because we are competing in a latest rules and regulation, so like what Alfian said, it's a fair play, and I think at the 8C Champ we have seen how our athletes perform and how other competitors are adapting to the new rules. So I just hope that the athletes are always they always have this positive mindset in preparation towards SEA Games, despite whatever setbacks you all are facing, and know that the federation I think your family, your friends are always there to support you at these upcoming SEA Games. And I know there's a lot of new athletes who are competing for SEA Games. So it's your first time. You have nothing to lose, but to just show the world what you are capable of. Yeah.
Cool. So like, do you feel what do you hope for like the SEA Games?
Same like Fiona. And I hope that the quality of the fights will be like, I can see like a lot of improvement as compared to the SEA Champs. A lot of more technical abilities with using the new rules and all that. And yeah, anything else to add? Nothing.
As a competitor, you feel the same, like the quality of fight, do you think like it needs to be improved, like from what you saw back in February, the competition? Is that one of your hopes? Like you hope like in SEA Games the fighting will be more technical?
What I hope for in SEA Games is there's obviously the obvious things that we are going to say is good luck to the athletes and hope that they do their very best and stuff. But the main thing for me is this SEA Game is kind of a platform for Silat to showcase its new rules, and this and at this level it's going to be watched by the whole of the world, which participate in so-called
Southeast
Asia. It's because World Championship is also around the corner as well. So I think other countries, other than the SEA Games countries, will be looking at this SEA Games as a benchmark as well to see how these new rules works and how can they kind of like adjust it to their own advantage. So this is kind of like a so-called a tryout, official tryout.
So you hope it contributes to the progress of Silat as a sport with the new rules and stuff.
Yeah, and more of like advertising the sport as well, marketing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for you, is it the same? Like what?
Yeah.
Why for
It's
you?
like a new start for every one of us to bring up the Pencak Silat to the standard. I mean, same level as the rest of the sports.
Is there anything different from what you hope from previous generation? As like in terms of competing, maybe.
In terms of competing, I think you guys already have the standard there, and I mean the techniques and all that is more. So you all, have the what do you call this? A lot of ideas to use. During the competition. So I guess yeah.
You were once an athlete, and there is a question for the ladies, and as an athlete, how do you cope with womanhood?
Definitely, it's very hard for us also lah. Because to catch up with the strength, the strength with the guys. Of course, obviously, it's very hard for us, and we do. Our mental have to be strong, especially our mental, and yeah, we really have to work hard, extra harder, and of course we do cry and everything and all that. During the trainings, but I guess with the team spirit that we have, gratefully with all the champions around us during my generation, they also, their team spirit make us. Support us to do better.
Motivates you a bit.
Motivate us to do better, and yeah, that's how we cope lah.
So for you, feel like, or maybe like specifically things that only a woman goes through, like how do you cope with that? Like,
I think the hardest part for me every month will be my monthly flow.
yeah.
So because as an athlete, I cannot. You know how women like we have these cramps, and it depends on how your body react to it. So some they don't feel any pain. Some they will feel extreme pain. So during my athlete years, I guess my period cramps was the worst because I'm active. Yeah, so I'm not sure what's the cycle about lah macam gitu. But during my athlete years, my cramps was so bad, but I couldn't use my cramps as a reason to not come for training because I'm afraid that I might miss out on things, or I might be like taking a step back and not taking a step forward like my other teammates. So and we as an artistic athlete, we have this thing where you're not supposed to look fat. You're supposed to look lean and sharp. So we couldn't like indulge on chocolates or sweets during our time of the month. So we had to like, you know what, I'm just gonna take in the pain. I'm just gonna like consume Panadols and then just go on with training and all that.
Yeah, we do have to look out for our weight as well. Especially
Yeah,
for-
true, correct. So like because women, right? So when we, what do you call it? When we,
Cravings.
no, not cravings.
PMS.
Not PMS. Like when we are growing, we
The hormones
tend, yeah, your hormone change.
your
So
hormone
your body
imbalance.
changes. So especially during like our younger days, the change is so drastic that you're like, it can be today you are like, oh, I'm so fit, I'm so strong, and then the next day you are going through changes. Your body is going through changes. So you just feel like, hey, why am I not?
You don't feel like yourself.
Yeah, I don't feel like myself. But at the end of the day, as an athlete, I guess you just have to like, of course you have to give time to yourself, but not too long to get used to the changes. So yeah,
And try not to give a reason. You can't do this, you can't do that
Yeah,
because of all this.
correct.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm sure there have been points of time where like it gets so bad where like it's literally painful, like you can't train, like it's of course every woman's experience is different lah, but I'm sure it's there are moments where you feel like, oh, I really cannot go train because like maybe you're like you cannot move out of the bed or what because it's really bad.
I've never felt that before, but I guess for me, it's whenever I train during my time of the month, I will not feel pain during that period because I think it's adrenaline. So I don't really feel the pain that my menstrual cramps and everything. So during training, I think it's fine, but it's always the pre and post. So that's the worst.
So you try not to use it as an excuse lah, but it's okay if like how some may feel like they really can't train lah during. I'm sure because it's different for everyone. But for you guys, I guess you managed to push through the cramps like every single month.
Yeah.
There's always one time. So yeah, that's definitely very hard lah. And
I
guess
think
I'll never understand
at the
it,
end of the
so.
day, if I think you know your body
Mm.
the best, so if you are not able to like go through for the day due to some like menses cramp or the changes that you're going through your body, I think it shouldn't you shouldn't force yourself because you won't really. For me, it's like you're supposed to enjoy your growth.
Yep.
Yeah, so I think during that period, I don't know if Kak Fiza felt the same, but I guess I didn't really get to enjoy the changes that I went through. So I'm just like, oh, okay, I'm changed. So this is me now. I don't really get to like,
Okay.
like this is
the
me
new
now.
me, this is
Yeah.
the new me.
So yeah.
It's very interesting insight to understanding how you guys cope with the struggles of they're only exclusive to women. I was just wondering, for like the next 10 years, what do you see or what do you hope for like for Pencak Silat locally in 10 years?
I hope that Silat doesn't so-called mainly being participated by only Malays, but it's more of mixed races as well. Yeah, with that as well, also we can kind of like have a larger base foundation to support towards high performance. But not more of high performance, but in a sense that Silat is being practiced by not only Malays but other races as well.
just as a hobby lah, and more
Correct, yeah.
racially diverse.
Yeah, so if you see, other sports like taekwondo, Muay Thai, and so on and so forth, it doesn't only stick with
The specific,
the majority
Yeah.
of the race, but it's also a mix, equally mixed. So I want to see Silat in the next maybe 10 years to be like that as well.
So, yeah. Anyone? Maybe you can share.
Personally, I hope that the local silat scene in 10 years will be, macam, how do I say it? Ramah apa? Lebih,
Ramah,
lebih macam meriah.
meriah.
More joy, more fun, more like hobby-like, is it?
Yeah, and like I hope that like whenever I pass by a silat class around the CC or mosque or anything, I hope that it will be packed and with parents waiting outside. I hope that it's something that people want their kids to learn, or you can learn at any age, honestly, and to see more involvement to the community also at the same time. Like I want, not that it's not I want, I hope that like we can see silat like everywhere around Singapore, but not for fighting purposes or anything, but it's just for the culture, the Malay culture, and also our tradition.
It's also active lifestyle.
Yeah.
Just as a hobby, a lifestyle,
Correct.
something that you do like on the weekends
Yeah.
to have fun lah.
And also in the
And keep
future,
fit.
seeing people with their silat gi walking,
See that key.
huh?
Crossing the road.
crossing
Crossing
the road
the
or
road,
whatever
just-
lah. It's just with their gi, going to training or going back. Because taekwondo, orang very semangat with
Yeah,
their
very
gi and everything else,
proudly
naik
with their-
MRT and so on and so
Correct.
forth. So it might seem strange or awkward to see one or two silat so-called practitioner, dengan itu with that lah. But then I think with more of this coming up, I think it will be a norm. But I think it also will be a good macam sedap mata memandang juga lah to see our so-called our own so-called apa nama dia, our own self defense punya okay, I should stop saying
What?
don't think about
Nah,
I feel proud of wearing the silat uniform outside.
yeah, correct, yeah.
so is it the same for you guys? Feel
Yeah, I just hope that I think similar to Abang Shakir and Ian is that I think we are working towards that, but I do hope that in 10 years is to actually break the stereotype, not only being a Malay sport but also a Muslim sport. Like it's a sport that can be participated by anybody around the world, which I think it's evolving well. We have competitors from Europe, from China, from Korea, so it's a widely participated sport. So only in Singapore, I just hope that it breaks that stereotype. And I guess in 10 years' time also, for the sport to be at a level where, it's, how do I say, like 1FC or UFC. Yeah, I mean now we have a lot of competitions lah, but it's mostly like 19 World Pencak Silat or SEA Games or Asian Games, but it's not like we have a competition where everybody around the world is just like, you know what, I want to be here, I want to be that, I don't know.
so this more this doesn't sound local, like this more like
Yes,
internationally
yeah,
you want it
correct.
to be. Yeah. So is it for you internationally also
Yeah.
the same?
To see in Olympic Pencak Silat one of the Olympics category lah.
guess
So,
yes,
yeah.
In 10 years. How's that looking, Mr. Shakir?
Yeah, I've just said my piece.
Internationally.
Internationally. Like as you said, she wants to see Pencak Silat in the Olympics. Then I was asking you like, how is that going since you're involved in that side of things?
Do we have a chance?
I believe we have a chance, but there is a lot more work to be done lah. Yeah.
Interesting. Getting some inside info.
But more information, you can get it from Fiona.
Hello.
Oh, what is the
Because she's working directly
Yeah,
with
yeah,
Silat, and I'm not. I'm only the outside person.
Maybe we can give the tips how to
Yeah. Well, anyways, like looking in 10 years from now, there's also like whoever that is like the kids that are doing silat now, like in the national team also. In 10 years, they'll probably be like ready to compete in their first SEA Games or World Championship. So going back to what we were talking about, and with like when we're talking about the SPEC scholarship and the expectation is that you have to win. I also feel that when somebody is of a certain age, they also feel the expectation that from the coaches or the federation that you are expected to win a medal or even you need to win a goal. So for you guys, how do you guys deal with that expectation that maybe not everyone thinks that they are capable of doing it until they actually do it? So how do you deal with that expectation of success?
I think Amayat's advice, who's Amayat, Coach Hidayat. So
Yes.
he always says that if an athlete comes to him and say, Amayat, I'm very pressurized. So what he said is, take the pressure as pleasure for you, because you know that you are in this sport, you are going to face all this pressure, but this pressure will actually makes you ready to perform better. So don't so-called take this pressure as a form of kind of like a negative part of it, but turn it to be a positive part whereby this is the time that you have to perform, and this pressure will make you ready in a sense.
So to the rest, what is your advice on dealing with the expectations, Fiona? Maybe.
My advice would be, I don't know.
Advice to deal with expectations, like how do you deal with the expectation? Like I'm sure that when you went for like in 2015 when you guys won bronze, right, in the World Championship 2015, I'm sure there was an expectation that you guys had to medal at the SEA Games, especially with the chance at the SPEC scholarship like hanging. Like how do you deal with the expectation, like not even just at the competition itself, but maybe throughout, like maybe from January when the championship was, and to SEA Games, which was about 6 to 7 months. Like, how do you deal with that expectation that technically you also put on yourself, and the expectation that the federation had for you?
I guess for me is I don't really pressure myself or really think about the expectations that was said or given to me, because like I mentioned, it will only add on more pressure, and the more pressure I feel, I will not perform. So I think one advice I would like to share is that enjoy the process. Enjoy the process. When you enjoy, you will tend to perform so much better. Yeah. So
Enjoying the
Correct.
journey lah.
Yes.
It's about the journey, not the
The
destination.
end result.
Was that the same for you? Like, do you feel any expectations when you were competing at the 2004 World Championship?
2004 is we are the host, so
Yeah.
more pressure because everyone wants to win and everyone wants to bring back medal. So yeah, I mean we really work hard for it, and of course thank God during that period of time, my generation are all it's a very good team. We have a very strong team bond, and we encourage each of us. So I mean we never like we never put aside, okay, you cannot do it, and they said, okay, we just walk away. What we do is, I think the team spirit is the key words lah.
So the team help you kind of
We encourage each other.
go
and-
through the expectation.
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
So maybe Alfian can wrap up this question with like how you dealt with the expectations as a scholar, as a champion?
For me, I came into the first time I experienced this was during the 2013 SEA Games. Before that, I was given the Spec Scholarship, and the people, the higher up say that this is like one chance to prove myself. Then, during the competition itself, I was the only one in the finals. And before the final day was like, we have one rest day before the finals. So, like every time I talk to my teammates, right, they will say, no pressure, but you know what you have to do. So, like it came as like I wasn't prepared for anything, honestly. I just had to like make it as a joke. Say, okay lah, no pressure lah, whatever. Tomorrow menang kan balik lah. That's all. Then like to me like on the outside I like just whatever lah. It's just another fight anyway. But at the inside, like on the day before, the rest day was like the worst day for me. I couldn't like think straight. I don't know if I should eat well or if I should like not eat much to jaga my weight. And then like we took motorbike to the supermarket. I like the whole time I was like, oh shit, how am I going to perform tomorrow? Like even like 1 minute before the fight, I was like filled with pressure, honestly. And then during the fight, everything suddenly like disappeared. You just focus, and then after the fight, it's like you always dream of winning or something like that, or you always dream that you want to achieve something, but after the fight you just felt relief, not happy or anything, just okay, it's over, I just want to go home and sleep. Yeah. So like dealing with pressure, I think just have to, everyone have their own different way to deal with it, and no matter what, you will look back and enjoy it lah.
Kind of just ignore that pressure or expectation that others have, and like when you reach the arena itself, those like pressure and expectation you don't feel anymore, and you kind of focus on the main goal was to win. I guess it's different for Fio. For Fiza was the teammates. For Fio was just not even thinking about the pressure itself. Yeah, so I guess that wraps up our conversation for today. So thank you everyone for coming.
Thank you, Han.
Thanks, Chem.
Wait, there's 3 champs here.
Sure.
There's 3 of them.